What's up?
We're taking a look at a really cool app. This is an app that you designed. You're the founder and creator of Brainstormer. And I've been using this thing for a little while. It's completely changed how I use AI for the kinds of stuff that I like to use it for. It's totally amazing. We're just going to kind of jump into it and show you guys. And like, honestly, if you guys are not using AI right now, and learning like what's up, you're going to get left behind because it's an incredible tool for whatever it is that you're doing. So we're going to show you like a few examples of that right now and how you can use this either for your business or for your art or for whatever it is that you're doing. Like it's amazing. Um, yeah, I don't
Thanks.
know. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyway, I mean, I'd like you to tell us kind of in your own words what this app is. I mean, I know
Okay.
you guys can see from here. There's different sections. You got a bunch of stuff going on. Maybe you can just kind of walk us through the layout a little bit.
Sure. Let me switch over here. So, can you see the mouse moving around?
I don't think so.
No? All right. That'll
Oh,
make
there it is.
things.
I see it. Yeah, yeah. Now I
Okay.
see it.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right. Here we go. So, in the far left column, all right. First of all, Brainstormer. What is Brainstormer? Brainstormer is basically an app that I've developed in order to combine and consolidate a number of generative AI tools, such as ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion and DALL-E. I, as a multimedia creator, I make all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
in all sorts of media and digital formats, and I'm always exploring new technology, and that has me with many apps open and many screens open and many like tabs on my browser and stuff. And a year ago, ChatGPT was really just starting to like flourish. And
Mhm.
as you remember, I was very into it. Still am very into it, obviously. And I taught myself how to code. And the first thing I did was make an app that I thought would help me just not have to log into all these things. And that very basic app was a combination of ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion so that I could chat with ChatGPT and I could generate images.
Mhm.
That idea became much more. So
Yeah.
what you have here is basically a way to streamline the entire creative workflow from start to finish, and not even necessarily for creative purposes per se, but it really, as you know, can be excellent for business purposes. In the far left column, you have your image related stuff. There's currently two different AI generation or generative AI rather models that function. There's Stable Diffusion and DALL-E. For those unaware of what those are, they are basically two different competitors, both of which generate high quality images via a text command. There's an example right here. Design a twilight cityscape with reflective glass, skyscrapers, neon lit transit, and lush vertical gardens. Now, that's going to disappear when I type something, but let's say, flowers exploding. There are particles floating. It's ultra HD. There's cinematic lighting. And there's shadowing. I don't know. Now I can generate an image and it'll take about 15 seconds, typically with Stable Diffusion, although it varies. And an image will pop up. As you can see, here we
If
are.
I could just say something really quick, one
Sure.
thing that I love about this is while that's happening, you can do other stuff.
Yes. So I want to get. I'll definitely get
Yeah,
there.
I didn't mean to jump ahead, but
No. Yeah.
I want people to know that right off the bat that you can do
Right.
like multiple things at once.
Yeah. So it really is the power of this for sure. And so
Yeah.
yeah. And so this one image we've got real quick. Boom. I'm going to download it. Now I have that on my computer. I could also save it to my Brainstormer history, which is you can save any type of file. So I'll call this image, flowers. And up here in my history, I can just retrieve that image at any given time. Anyways, to the left of this, you have your animation settings. So you can, you know, cat walking, cat jumping, cat flying. So what I just did was I gave it a start. The beginning is a cat walking. The middle is going to be a cat jumping, and the end is going to be a cat flying. These numbers over here are your frames. So I want the cat jumping to come in at frame 24, and I want the cat flying to come in at the end. So we'll call it a 48 frame video. It says right here, the total can be up to 60. I plan on raising that. It's just a matter of, you know, doing a number of other updates too, as you know. I can just go ahead and click animation, or generate animation rather. And it's going to take a second. Now, this one is a pretty glitchy feature. I'd be happy if anyone's into this. I can really show you how to make the most of this text to animation section, because if you do something like this, it's going to be a pretty wonky result, you know. But if you learn how to actually shape the prompts in order, like what to do, right? Like you do want long, detailed prompts with minimal variation for the videos, for instance, and it keeps it smoother. And with image to animation, it is a similar concept. I could, you know, upload this image and make a video out of it.
And this is the one that I like to use.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. So I'll wait to do another video. I typically do one video at a time. So while that populates, I'll go back. I should actually move back to the image column, if I may. There are other features here that I did not go over. You know, for instance, I can trash this image, and I can import an image. So I could import this, whatever this is, and now flowers exploding, particles floating. Those text commands are actually going to try to guide the image that I just uploaded. Sometimes that feature doesn't really work. Sometimes it does. I've actually gotten some great results out of it. So it is worth exploring they call that image to image. There you go. So yep, it took the shape, the sculpture sort of thing, and there you go. There's flowers exploding. Very cool little thing that I like to mess with. We have very basic image editing. What I intend to do in the original version of the app, as Big Empty Zero knows, had many more features when it started getting converted whatever into a web app as opposed to a computer-based app. A lot of it changed. So the image editing, I do want, you know, this will have a full image editing suite, which is pretty cool.
This is like beta version right now, bro.
Yeah, very beta. And still very much in the construct. I have huge visions for this. It really can be. It already is very powerful, but with where I want to go with it, it's just going to be something else. So, anyways, here's this video, super fast, and it's super weird. You can do basic stuff. I recommend Chrome on this note. There's this download button here, which is really helpful. That is not something that I found on Safari, which can be annoying. You can also, you know, mess around with playback speed here too. That's not obviously Brainstormer. That's just Chrome. I could with. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I will say it actually works on my phone really well using it.
That's it, which is
Chrome, yeah.
Which is cool because, you know, it was specifically designed for a computer, so that you know, and we'll get to the whole workflow in a second. But yeah, so the image to animation, this, like Big Empty Zero, like, you know, you just said, it really is one of the most fun features about this whole thing. And you can do all music videos, really, if you do it. It's worth noting right now, it just does 4-second videos. You can run the same image through it and get different results, which can be really fun. It handles landscapes very well for the most part. It handles like focused body shots very well. you know, sometimes you'll get a glitchy result and then it might be worth rerunning it, or you might want to just rerun it to see if you can get other versions and, you know, bounce between and mesh it around. I think, you know, a core thing to realize about Brainstormer is the fact that it is meant to provide all of the files, right? It's meant to provide you with the stuff you'll need. You'll still need to build it. You know, you'll still, it gives you all of the assets you could possibly need for really anything. Let's check this video out real quick. Boom. So that turned that still image into a moving, you know, and it's pretty cool. You know, you can see it does the focus very well. It attaches, you know, the image of this guy and it detaches it from the landscape, and it really is able to, it's astonishing to me, honestly, like moving the cloud, the fact that it's able to move the clouds. Anyways, onto the notepad and sketchpad. I have it zoomed in so this button looks funny. You know, it is also worth noting to the viewers that this is not going to be the full, like, professional, we'll call it whatever grade layout. This is as it builds. But in the notepad, we have, you know, it is basically you know, a very basic notepad with, you know, basic formatting features for now. It's, you know, you just got very basic size stuff for now. But, you know, one cool feature is, like, if I like this image, right, I can click it and I can drag it into here. Right. And now, yeah. And so now
that's new. That's a new feature.
It is a new feature. Yeah. So you can storyboard really well with this now, right? Like, as you work, you can, you know, right. And so I'll get there actually with one of the case studies that I'll show you out, or show you around. So that's kind of just, you know, one of the ways that's really cool to use the notepad, but you can also generate any idea. So I've pre-programmed these random ideas basically. So these are calls to GPT. So what that means is this, when you click any of these, so let's click trinkets. What that button just did is it is asking, we'll say more or less Chat GPT, because that's what people are familiar with, but that the technology behind GPT to generate a random list of trinkets. So that's what I just did, is I just told, you know, GPT, generate some trinkets. Now this one is random. I like it. It's generate a story of a lost key. Totally obscure, very random. But it's random for a reason. They're meant to be, there's a limit to actually how many, like, how much stuff. I forget exactly what character limit I put it at, but I put it at one, not actually for pricing reasons, but those were originally for my own use, because I thought it gave me, like, I wanted to leave it open-ended. I like that idea in a creative, you know, if that's what it's an idea, it's not necessarily something that needs to be fully fleshed out. So for instance, there, you know, it ends with there. Right. So it does, you know, what do you do after that? You know, it could be anything. You could continue the story in any which way. It gives you a way to continue it, I think, a little easier. Anyways,
or you could drag that into the chat bot on the other side. I know you haven't gotten there yet.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Continue building on it.
Exactly. So we'll get there in just a second. We have a sketchpad as well. Honestly, the sketchpad is a little wonky right now. It's not working. What I want is more or less it to be a fully fleshed. I think this is where a lot of the image editing is going to move eventually, so that you really can kind of just, it'll have layers you can drag your images onto, kind of like, you know, the notepad, and just like a whiteboard sort of thing. And you'll have all of the image editing tools that you can and stuff like that. Also worth noting is there will be a way to make all of the sections full screen, and each of those screens will have a load more features. So, like, for instance, the image part, there'll be a button where you can click full screen, and then a bunch of more just parameters pop up that you can mess around with when you're generating your images. But this sole screen is made to have the core necessary functions. So if you don't want to dive into the advanced stuff, you really don't have to. Anyways, so that's kind of the idea with the Note and Sketchpad. They're ideas, and the GPT chat, right now we're on the right side, is really where you can kind of connect all of this stuff, I like to say. So for the users, with the way I set up the GPT chat it's funny because I set it up a long time before OpenAI announced the GPT store and GPTs themselves. And that is basically the same concept. So when you have just started Brainstormer, you're a new user, it'll look like this. I'm going to click the plus button here. What's this doing? It's going to give me the ability to create my own personal AI assistant. So you have an example Brainstormer, and what's the role of the assistant? And it could be Brainstorm's epic ideas. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say this is prompter, and this generates high quality generative AI text prompts. Great. And I'm going to add that. Now you can see prompter just popped up here. And I'm going to say, I'm going to actually take, I don't know, a pouch of dried lavender. That was a trinket that was generated. I'm going to say, make a few, or give me some image ideas with this. And I'm going to hit return, and we'll see what happens. But what that's hopefully going to do is provide a few different options for images that are going to work and display the lavender pouch. And while I have the chat going right now, I will click this. This is the only one I have a full screen option for. So you can click this button in the top right, and it can make the chat full screen. And right now, the formatting is not correct. Unfortunately, I got to figure that out. But I have, for now, created this copy button, which, if I may, I'll announce to the viewers, was Big Empty Zero's idea, and it is a brilliant one. So I can just copy GPT's response. I'm going to go down to the notepad, and I'm going to paste it. And it did the formatting for me, as you can see. So I have it's kind of organized it, right? It gave me the line breaks. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna paste it. A rustic kitchen scene with a small pouch of dried lavender lying on an ancient wooden table surrounded by freshly baked bread and ceramic pottery. Okay, great. So we're back in the image section. I'm gonna change from Stable Diffusion to DALL-E, and I'm gonna generate an image. Meanwhile, I'm also going to download this so I don't lose it, this video. And again, that's the 3 buttons right here. Click that, and then click download. All right. So there it is. There's your dried pouch your pouch of dried lavender on a wooden table. Unfortunately, one thing I need to fix is the image of, and we've been talking about that, Big Empty Zero and I actually, with the image effects not defaulting back to how they were supposed to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's kind of close.
But you can, you could always reload the page, I suppose.
For sure. Exactly. To generate another image, just trash it and then click generate again. And DALL-E is awesome because you can just do that till your heart, desires, as long as your heart desires. Stable Diffusion is different with Brainstormer. I plan on changing it, but right now the way it's programmed is that it will actually always generate the same image.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yep. So it's not going to work the same. Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is literally exactly what that is. A rustic kitchen scene with a small pouch of dried lavender lying on an ancient wooden table surrounded by freshly baked bread and ceramic pottery. That's exactly what that is. Crazy. So then for me, I would for fun, like take that, you know, and go all the way down here and my most recently, and I'm going to click generate animation. And you know, you could just mess around. Let's take another one of these, you know, plop it in here and just keep exploring. As you can see, you can already see all these sections have begun activating. So that's kind of the overview. You know, you have the image, you have the video, and then you have the ideas, and then you have the chat. And the final thing I'll note is back in the chat, I showed people how to create the prompter, right? So let's create a second one because you can create it more. So I'm going to call this one, actually, we'll call this one Business Pro. I don't know, Business Pro. Forms business plans, provides high quality marketing assistance, and lends advice for content. I don't know. Oh, look at that. Because I'm on a I hit my own paywall. All right. Let me log out and log in as myself instead. There we go. Let's change it up. Sorry about that, people. There is a paywall. You do have to pay for this. So
understandably, I mean, for what you get already from that, this is incredible.
Thank you.
And honestly, like, most people are already paying for ChatGPT or
exactly
all this stuff. So if I have a login to Brainstormer, I don't need all those other memberships.
Exactly. Right? Actually, if I could note that, yes. So let's talk about this for a second, right? Explorer plan, $10 a month. Yes, it's limited ChatGPT 4 that I'm giving you, but it's pretty close to unlimited. And it really is no different than what you get for $20 at ChatGPT. Yes, it's not the same interface. Yes, it's not as advanced, but you can't get ChatGPT 4 without paying $20 a month. With Brainstormer, I give it to you for 10. And you get to do images and you get to do videos, right? And so for 25 a month and 50 a month, like you are actually getting hooked up, especially like with 50, I have no cap to the ChatGPT. So it literally becomes essentially the same exact thing. And in fact, when you use the ChatGPT website, there are limits to how many like messages you can send per hour. And or per like 3 hours. This doesn't have that. So like if you have the pro account and you need more than like 40 messages every 3 hours, Brainstormer has your back. Like that's no doubt, you know, like you can just keep going. Because I have had a bunch of conversations in ChatGPT that I get really far in, and I pay $20 a month, and then it still is like, oh, you've maxed your usage. You can come back in like 2 hours. And I'm like deep in this coding thing. It drives me nuts. It's like, yo, like I have to hold off for 3 hours, and like this button doesn't work, dude. You know, it is. So I'm just saying, like, you know, that $10 a month is actually a really good deal. And it's just a matter of navigating and learning the workflow. And so I want to show you now, like, now that we have this, you know, I gave you the quick rundown. If I may kind of give you a case study.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I like to start by showing people like the idea of like creating a business, right? So like, we'll just call this what I was doing before, Business Pro. Generate, you know, helps form business idea.
So where are you typing right now? I don't see it.
Oh, you can't see me typing?
No.
When hang on. Oh, wait. You're not seeing the same screen as me, I'm noticing.
No, I think that must be it. Do we need to whatever you call it, reconnect?
Can you see that?
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
All right. So we'll do this. I'm gonna create a bot, a helper, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna call it a business pro. Helps form and strategize businesses from the ground up. Add. Okay, so now I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna scroll over. What I'm doing real quick is I'm just scrolling up here. These are my many bots that I've created. I've created a ton.
And you can really dial in those bots, right? I mean, you can have a really long description of like exactly what you want it to do.
Absolutely. We're working with this real quick, so I'm just going to go ahead and click full screen. I'm going to say, come up with some unique business ideas that can be run digitally. Now I'm going to wait for a response. Sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes it doesn't. If it takes a while, that's when I'm like, you know, booping around with the other sections, because that's kind of the fun part, right? Because a lot of the time with AI, when you're generating stuff, you're waiting. And so that was another reason I wanted to put everything on the same screen, is because I wanted to like not have to wait. So like sometimes I'll just, you know, generate some ideas and that'll do its thing. And you know, a miniature brass dragon, I might just generate an image of that for fun, you know. It's now done its thing, so I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to focus. But so let's go back to the full screen chat. Here we go. So now it looks like a lot. It's a little overwhelming. I showed you before the copy button. Click that copy button. I'm going to go to the notepad and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this, and it formats it for us, which is great. Look at all these awesome ideas. Blockchain-based digital collectibles store. Capitalize on the popularity of NFTs. Let's do...
And I don't know if you said this already. If you did, I'm sorry, but you can also save your sketch pads or your notepads.
Absolutely. You can save everything.
So that, I mean, I'm assuming that's why you like to copy it in there just as your workflow, and then
yes,
save it as you want. Yeah,
exactly. So perfect thought. So right now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click the save disk icon. I'm going to save these as business ideas. All right, boom. Note is saved. Great. Now I have those business notes ideas that I can just access at any time that I want in the history. I could click this button and access it in the future too. This is the import button. So I kind of look at, I was looking at these and I kind of like the idea of like, let's try to go with a subscription box marketplace. So let's go back to our business pro, which is right here. And I'm going to say, create a business plan. Actually, let's say let's keep it general for now. Let's dive into this one, and I've copied that, so I'm going to just paste it into the chat, and it's going to give me, you know, some information on starting a business that is a subscription box marketplace. Now my brain is already kind of going with like, how can I use this? How can I use Brainstormer to do all of the things that it's going to be giving me to do? So it's going to be telling me probably, look, you know, ideas for things that I can deliver, ideas for like, it's a lot right now. It really is going to give me a ton of starting information for how to start a business, right? I already saved this note, so I'm going to delete it. Now that we're specifically working with this, I pressed that copy button earlier on the market. I'm sorry, on this one. Sorry. There we go. Yeah. Yes, thank you. And here we go. I'm scrolling up. I know I'm working very fast, but it's done. It's telling me, okay, I need to do market research. I need to come up with a business model development, platform development, supplier onboard management. All right, let's do these things one by one. But what would my demographic be? And we'll see. And usually I ask this question first, and I know it's kind of a longer route to go. You could do it a lot quicker. You could be very vague, but I'm saying this because eventually I want to get an idea for basically who the market would be. And it's going to give me some ideas about researching because it doesn't know probably what I want to do. Let's say it's a health food subscription based service platform. Develop some brand logo concepts, you know, and then now we're basically, we have the plan, right? We have like the general outline of what we'd need to do in order to like form this business. And I'm already trying to jump on branding it already, you know. And again, like I can copy any of these answers real quick into this. That's what I always do, is I just keep building this thing, you know, the notes, so that all.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, like, if there's any of these steps that you might not understand, you can always ask it to break those down even further for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You literally, you know, you can do any of it. And I already have, as you can see, this massive note. All right, cool. Here, it's given me some concepts for logos. So let's get that going. Let's start having some fun. So I'm going to take this and I can just copy and paste that whole thing. A cool thing to note about DALL-E, I default to DALL-E half the time, but a cool thing I know to note about DALL-E is not only the fact that it will generate different images every time, but DALL-E works differently than Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion, the prompt is an art. It's less about forming actual sentences, that you really need to like have this craft to it. Whereas with DALL-E, what DALL-E is going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it to it. And DALL-E actually starts by feeding my image, and it actually goes into GPT so that Chat GPT can basically word it for me and then give that ideally worded prompt to DALL-E. So that's what's happening behind the scenes with something like this. You can give DALL-E a very straightforward thing, a very straightforward prompt, and it will do a much better job than Stable Diffusion. You know, these aren't actual words. So that is also worth noting, is that fonts and words can be tough with Brainstormer or with any generative AI, that's for sure. So let's try to do something more basic. This one's got a circle encompassing abstract representations of the earth, a leaf, and perhaps a bite mark. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna say, let's default to this. We're gonna use this. I'm going to paste that. Help with some social.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Help with some social media campaign material. All right, great. So now this is perfect. Here's our logo. Boom. And while that works, I can take this for fun. Let's create like a little, you know, visual branding. I'm going to import that new logo that we have. And that is not it. This is it. And I will click generate animation, and boom. This is all sorts of good stuff I'm getting.
You could also, I mean, it's Chat GPT, so you could have it make some social media posts for you.
Exactly. That's literally what it's doing right now, is it's giving me some social media posts. All right, name our company.
I'm trying to think of like what other things a business needs.
We've got kind of our little here. right. That's
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize it was already doing that. That's cool.
Company name. Let's go with green grays. All right. Let's go with green gaze. Come up with a pitch deck.
Okay. It was green grays.
Oh, that's funny. Oops.
But green gaze works.
I like green gaze too. Let's go with it. Sprout saver. That's also a good one. You know, you could just keep going around, and just like before you know it, as you could see, I have learned about starting this business. I've generated a logo. I figured a little bit about the market. I came up with a name for the company, and now it's coming up with a pitch deck. It came up with social media content, and it's been what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, and
that's insane.
And it's come up with video stuff.
Oh.
So
you could put that at the start of your videos, at the start of your social media, yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, and so you know, you could just generate all your social media images for it too. You know, I'm just gonna generate another image with the same prompt, and I could, you know, at any point theoretically very easily take any of this stuff and put it in whatever I need. Like, let's say this is awesome. I like this one a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention one thing. So in Dolly, when you go to Dolly and use it on their website, Dolly always puts that little annoying watermark on all their images. You know, the little three squares, the three colored squares or whatever it is. We're using Dolly right now, and we don't have that watermark.
That's true. It is worth noting that
which I'd be willing to pay just for that. Honestly.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's Dolly 3, not Dolly 2. So Dolly 2 is different than Dolly 3. Dolly 3 is something that is included in ChatGPT, and it is also included here. Normally in ChatGPT, it's basically in the same thing. Like you're having the conversation and you're generating the image, which is awesome. And I love that. And actually, that is a feature that I plan on doing down the line. The thing that still makes Brainstormer so different, so unique, is the editability on screen that you can do. Like with having the notepad on the same screen is actually more of a game changer than people might realize with just the general workflow. Because you know, that would be a business, and then you could do the same thing with like a comic book, you know. I think I might have one. Game designer is another good one, you know. Come up with a game for Unity. And you know, I could be as specific as I want. Sometimes if I don't have ideas, I'm just gonna wipe it because it's safe. Sometimes if I don't have ideas, I'll just start with something like a scene. A scene might give me a, you know, a cool image idea. I'm just gonna, like, sometimes I literally just will like copy and paste a certain random amount. Sometimes I'll be random and I'll throw it in here, you know. I do 24, 36, and like you know, a tip would be like keep them very similar, but like change a couple things around, like an enchanted magical forest. I don't know.
So it's taking different influence from different ones.
Bingo. All right, so here it's come up with some game ideas, I guess, for this one, or a game. Yeah, the Chronicles of the Rift Keepers. Great, perfect, love it. All right, provide character image ideas. You know, without going into the whole thing, it's phenomenal for game design. It's phenomenal for comic books, phenomenal for doing like a comic book, because I know I think I just said that, but like the idea of being able to, like with a game, right? You can generate the idea, you can generate the characters, you can generate the level, you can generate the codes, right? So I'll say like, what codes will we need?
You could have a backstory for each character too.
A lot of the time what I'll do is I'll take this, I think it's still copied, so I'm just going to go over to like, I have or actually it is I'll just use the same one, but I'll be like, all right, what codes will I need, right? And Brainstormer is code compatible, so I can just start building my whole game here with not only the images, like, you know, a hero in a game that involves time traveling through, I don't even know what it was, but let's just say, you know, rifts in time. I don't know, even time traveling through rifts in time. It's a little redundant, but you can be pretty vague with DALL-E. It can be pretty fun. Oh yeah, if you get that error 422, trash that. That's the problem. DALL-E is trying to access an image for image to image, and it can't. So yeah, you just click that. I'm going to scroll up here. It's given me some of the ideas. It's going to say, no, I can't do all the codes, but then you're going to say, yes, you can. Start one by one.
That is sick. Look what just happened. That's sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is sick. All right, so there you go. So that's what I'm saying, right? So like now you could at any point just keep going. You get all of the characters, like I said, like all of the UI design, you know, like, so like the menu buttons, things like that, and you can have it all in minutes, and you can have the codes for it, so that when you're done in Brainstormer, you can just take all of the stuff that you've done in your notepad, like I said, is the way that I personally like to work, copy it, put it in whatever normal workflow you use. I use Unity for game design. I honestly, yes, I use like Premiere. Yes, I use Photoshop, but honestly, as Big Empty Zero, as you know, I use Canva all the time. I think Brainstormer works hand in hand with Canva like a beast. Like you really can take all of the videos you do and make music videos out of them, you know. Let's check a look. So a little pretty wonky still, but as you can see, it at least kind of keeps the construct, right, of the forest. You know what I mean? Like it's still a little too different. But you know, you could use this video. Anyways, I know I'm all over the place. I'm gonna probably just like stop for now. I know that, but like yeah, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put my hands off.
No, that's incredible. That's incredible, man. And we're gonna have to do this more and like go into more examples and stuff. I'm probably gonna. I mean, let me know too in the comments, guys. Like, if this is something you guys are interested in and you'd like to see more use cases for it, like we can do this again and we can walk you through other like things that it can do. You know?
Yeah, I literally I could go on about how practical this could be. You know, you could design a restaurant's interior, the menu, and the images for the menu. You could do and all of the promotion that it needs, all of the pitch deck, the whole business plan, the research, come up with the logo, figure out like everything, like what the ideal location for the restaurant would be based on the demographic. You can do all of these things. And the cool part about Brainstormer is you have the ability to do it all quickly. And that's the idea. And I know that some people are scared of that. Some people are saying like, dude, are you concerned about how powerful it is? Because really what I'm not designing necessarily anything new. I am taking a lot of really awesome things and I'm putting them on the same screen, and I am trying to share that with other people, because it is a game changer for workflow just to be able to do that. Like down the line, I foresee integration directly into Canva. I foresee integration into things like Slack. I foresee the ability for people to eventually schedule a post directly in there. They could create their whole marketing campaign, not just the stuff in it, but to be able to have a linked calendar, things like that, that literally you could post to social media. As you know, like I'm eventually going to integrate 3D rendering for users. I'm going to eventually integrate audio for users and music. And so not only will people be able to type and create like a song from text, but they'll be able to take an image that they do and they'll be able to feed it to it and it will interpret it musically. And it'll, you know, and the same thing with 3D, you'll be able to take an image of one of your favorite drawings that you did of a character, and then it'll convert it to 3D, and you can literally have this 3D file. And if you make games, you can turn any image you want into a game player or a game object or a game world for that matter. And I think that the power is scary, but it's all there. So why not just like,
I mean, like what I was saying before, I look at it as a tool rather than something to be feared for the future 100%. Or whatever. It's a tool, and like I like to use it for the art that I make a lot of the times. You know, I have a visual aspect to the stuff that I do when I'm playing shows or whatever. Like I have visuals going on, or I'll perform visuals live, and what Brainstormer kind of lets me do is I'm able to create these visuals that I wouldn't normally be able to have, and then I can manipulate them even more. So I mean, I don't feel like this computer just made my whole shit for me. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Like I'm using it to create the art that I wouldn't be able to do normally on my own.
So exactly.
Having access to that is like huge, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So I hear a few things, right? And we all do. Like, what about the jobs? Like, well, the jobs, AI, first of all, this is a whole conversation, but AI has been affecting jobs for a long time, long before this. And with that said, as you know, if instead of fearing it and avoiding it, we can at least try to use it as a tool instead of losing jobs. I have made money, and I'm not saying through Brainstormer even. I'm saying I've taught classes. I'm saying like all of these things. It's been advantageous to learn this stuff. And I think even if you're not into it, it really is important to learn how it works, because like you said, you said it at the beginning, and it's so true, is that if you don't familiarize yourself with this stuff, like even like in a month, we're going to be we're so far into this. It's crazy. Like you've seen Sora. You saw the thing I showed you today, which is Genie, which is by, you know, Google. It's insane. It's text to interactive. Like that's an astonishing thought. These things are here. And they're not going away. And if you
everybody's already sorry to interrupt you. Everybody's already using it. All the big companies are already using it. So like if you don't know what's going on now, you're already behind.
You're way behind. And I taught a class at one of the local libraries, and to the main class, like the main base of people was like, I don't know, 50 to 60, right? And I appreciated them being there because they were trying to learn this new technology. They weren't against it per se. They saw how it had a lot of potential, but they're, you know, also skeptical. And I get like, it's very good to be skeptical. But I think that like, if you learn how to use this stuff, exactly like you said, you'll find yourself caught up somewhat, because all of a sudden, like if you don't know how to use ChatGPT and then tomorrow you log in, you will be blown away, right? You'll be like blown away, and you'll be like, wow, what have I been stubborn about? And to me, it's amazing still that people haven't still used ChatGPT or some sort of AI thing, because like, if you don't know how to speak with it now, you're
the other thing I want to say is that if you don't know how to use it, it will teach you how to use it. By playing with it, by having a conversation with it. So I mean, even Brainstormer, what you just showed us, you can log into Brainstormer. You can, you know, create a prompter for whatever you want to do, or you don't even have to create a prompter. You can just start typing in there, right? And it'll work. And if it gives you a response that you don't like, or it's not, you know, it's going in the wrong direction, you can literally just say, no, that's not what I mean. I need it to be more like this.
Literally.
And it'll literally give you another
Yeah.
response, and you can like train it through the course of a conversation and get what you need out of it, which is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I think that if we think of it as a tool and we see how it can benefit us, because it can, like if you lose your job because you get laid off, in the past, you had to immediately look online, I mean, originally classifieds, right? Now it's LinkedIn and Indeed and stuff like that. Guess what? That's different now. You can go home from the job you just got laid off from, and you can say, what do I like to do? And if you don't even know, ask Brainstormer, ask ChatGPT. I need to figure out a job. I need a job that I can do from my house for now. Like, and it will do, like I just showed you, you know, like now is the time for the small business more than ever, because we can do the things that we want to do. I have never felt threatened as an artist, and I'm an artist of all kinds. And so I do understand the idea of like people being like, oh, well, is it devaluing art? Well, it's devaluing some art, but human made art will be more valuable because of it. And that's a good thing. And it's what it has. Maybe people will pay what they should have been paying for some of the human made products that they haven't valued as much, because it will become, it already is very saturated with like, oh, that's an AI looking image, you know. People still want and always will want handmade stuff. It is still worth learning crafts, but it is also at a point where if you get laid off, you have more power than ever to make your own thing happen, to make a thing and sell it.
I agree with you 100%. You just reminded me, I want to add one thing. Again, Brainstormer is very new. This is the beta version you showed us. AI is getting better and better constantly. Even, you know, OpenAI and DALL-E and all that stuff. There's new versions coming out all the time. As those come out, I mean, Brainstormer's just going to get better and more advanced.
That is, I appreciate you touching up on that. Yes, because that is one really cool part about Brainstormer, is that because it, instead of competing with this other technology, it embraces all of them. It is utilizing their technologies at its core. And anytime they do something that's awesome, it benefits Brainstormer big time, because that new technology is 100% possible and pretty quickly will be integrated into Brainstormer. That's the way Brainstormer works, is it basically takes my favorite AI tools and it puts them on a screen. And all the ones that I think are the most handy, which frankly, I think ChatGPT is. But again, like I find myself, especially before Brainstormer, I would have ChatGPT open. I would have whatever software or pieces of software typically that I would that would be open to make the thing I make, like let's say Logic if I'm making music, or Unity if I'm making a game, or Premiere if I'm making a video, whatever it might be. I'd have that open. And then if I'm doing the AI art stuff, I have multiple tabs open. Like I'm messing with like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and DALL-E, and I'm getting to see if I can get all of this stuff happen. And and instead of being like, I want to come up with a different version of this or a better version of this or fine tuning this, I was like, honestly, it's driving me nuts. I will save so much time so long as I can have the chat right there, always accessible, and never have to leave the screen. Just be able to and have the notepad. It's that combo for the workflow to me that really just like seals the deal with Brainstormer. It's like as all the other technologies grow, that Brainstormer will really become a very, very powerful piece of brainstorming software. I might, you know, I've not battled. It's been like a sometimes yes, sometimes no concept of like potentially going all in with Brainstormer to the point of it being an editor of sorts, like a more sophisticated editor. But at the same time, like, I like the idea of like, it's giving you the pieces.
And I like that it's so streamlined now.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I don't know. I see where you're going with that. That you could have the ability to go even deeper, but
Exactly, you really could. And but I find myself thinking like, what is the purpose of Brainstormer for me? It is a matter of how can I expedite getting all of the things I need in order to make the thing I want to make.
yeah. Well, and just to say this, if you don't know what you're gonna make, I really like that too. I can open it up. I can literally just play around with it, and within like a minute or two, I have like a bunch of these cool, whatever you want to call them, elements or files or things that I can do stuff with. And it really is just like inspiration for something, you know?
Exactly. I mean, they're assets in the game world. They'd be called assets, right? You have like the videos, the art, the images, the any form of file, any media, and I love, that's another thing about, you know, it saves everything very intuitively, and it's going to be very, especially down the line when the history tab is cleaned up, it's going to be very intuitive the way everything is organized, so that you have easy access to any file that you make. So be it a video, an image, a note, a conversation that you have that you think is cool. Another bit that you can do with Brainstormer that's helpful is you can juggle multiple conversations at the same time. So you can have multiple conversations going. And if your conversation, we were talking before, of like, you know, no, that's not what I meant. If it's still not getting the damn thing that you're trying to say to it, you can click clear chat. It wipes the chat. So that's a nice little feature I like to use a lot. That way I don't have to just like, I don't know, like it can be really annoying trying to like read, like sometimes like
it's going in a loop.
A loop, yeah.
A
loop. And so and a lot of the time, like, because I kind of default to having the workflow, like copy the response, put it in the note. I typically will have the last response it gave me somewhere. Not always, obviously, I forget, but sometimes. Exactly. And so you kind of just pick it up there, and hopefully it starts a little fresher. There are a lot of little hacks that you can do with Brainstormer, but yeah, you know, we should do another video, because clearly there's a lot more.
There's a hell of a lot more, dude. All right, well, so just to wrap this up, Brainstormer it's beta, but you're giving people access right now.
Yes,
how do we get it? What do we do? Where do we go?
Look, it is very raw, but I am letting people in. So it is brainstormer.cloud. That's the site. So if not .com, not any, brainstormer.cloud. That's how you get there. That's how you get to the site. Like you said, Big Empty Zero, it can be accessed on a phone. It is not made for a phone. That's kind of like, I don't want to say defeats the purpose, because I also use it on my phone. I'm like sitting in bed and like fucking generating. It's fun. It's fun.
But, I mean, sometimes you'll have an idea, or for me at least, and I'm not near my computer, so I'm just like, oh.
That is that for making, when we made it for web, like that was a really cool thing that I hadn't even considered, right? Like I had only been using it on my computer when I first, like that first version that you made, or that you played with, and that wasn't possible on a phone. And so I think you might have even been the one to be like, dude, it works on the phone. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. So but yeah, so that is, it works on the phone, and it's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. I promise. We have a Discord. I don't have the links to that off the top of my head, but I'll provide it for you, and you can put in the link of your video.
Yeah, so below, I was even going to ask if the Discord would be a good place for some of these tips and tricks we've been talking about.
So that's, you know, if you go to, also, this will be, I'm sure, in the little description, is our company website, which is sometimes hard for people to understand. I get it. It's rhythrosalabs.com. So that's RHYTHROSA. And I know that's probably a lot too, but to remember that, think rhythm and rose. It's a combination of that. So Rhythrosa Labs, and the labs at the end. So the reference is interactive audio visual science, I guess you could call it, right? That's kind of the formation of what that reference is: rhythm, aesthetic, visual, and beauty, and then labs represents science. So anyways, rhythrosalabs.com. Our blog and our FAQ are up there, but also you can access those in Brainstormer itself. The reason I'm just mentioning those is because the FAQ and the blog that are ongoing, they're constantly being updated, but they do have a lot of answers to some of the questions. And, you know, it's confusing right now for people who don't know how to use it. I get it. Like, the idea is to make it the opposite of that. In fact, I want this to be a great starting point for people who don't know generative AI very well, because this stuff can be really confusing. But I basically took the easiest, most straightforward things, like here's the prompt, enter, it generates.
I think even people who are very advanced with AI are going to see this and be like, holy shit, you can do all of that in one place.
It is, that's the fun of it, you know? And like, I think that it's got so much potential when like you can expand the notepad and have a full like document, you know, sort of thing. Like, that's the sort of editing I want to allow, not necessarily like film editing altogether, or like full music suite. That might be cool. Like, I'm not anti that. I'm not saying, but I do like the premise is you can get all of the assets, all of the files. And if you don't know what you want, like you were saying, this is Brainstormer will help you brainstorm. If you do know what you want, it's so good. Like, for me, like, I make video games in like an hour with it, you know. I get like everything, like I have a functional game with characters and a level that I've made in Unity in an hour, and all it took was 20 minutes inside Brainstormer, giving me all the stuff that I just put in Unity and one by one in Unity in 40 minutes at a game. You know, it's like marketing campaigns, or get one done in 5 minutes, you know, like do all the market research, brand, anything.
So in an afternoon, you could completely finish a game. You could have a marketing campaign for it. You could have logos and promo videos and all of that stuff. You
could
and social media posts ready to go.
You could start a game company. You could go that route, start a game company, and then make the game, and then market the game, brand the game, develop the website. You know, one thing I like to say is rhythrosalabs.com, like that whole website is Brainstormer. Like, Brainstormer is its own case study. The whole website was made by Brainstormer. All of the text that you read on our website is by Brainstormer. All of the images that you see are by Brainstormer. All of the videos. There's a whole blog that's written by Brainstormer. There's all of the FAQ. I created a bot, an assistant in Brainstormer that specializes in writing FAQs for generative AI websites. And though that's what it did. So it's all, so Rhythrosa Labs is like, one of the teammates, man, is Brainstormer. There's like no question, you know. It's like, you know, it's very meta. It's very meta. But anyways,
damn, dude. So I mean, if you've made it this far into the video, you must be interested. So check out the links below. Thank you for coming here. However you found me, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, because we're going to be doing more of these for sure. And maybe going in a little deeper and maybe showing you how I might be able to use this thing to make some music and make some videos and other cool stuff.
Yeah, music videos are a ton of fun. That's really been, as you know, like, I've been going ham with those. Anyways,
well, hey, I'm going to wrap this up. Stay on the line with me, Dan. I want to talk to you after this. But to everybody else, no, I mean, just don't leave me hanging. But anyway, to everybody else, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, everybody.
East Coast Kombucha. There you go.
Nice.